Moldavine Cloak might just be terrible because of the because of the bathing lights.
Oh yeah, it's actually terrible against bathing light.
Yeah, because he's got give my guy protection from green. Your guy gets protection from green.
Wow.
Loses, the Moldavine Cloak goes away. So I think the Moldavine Cloaks are going to come out every game.
Okay, that's fair.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about the interaction with bathing light.
We'll have to get a report from John.
Scab Clan Mauler is pretty mediocre too. Guaranteeing damage is not something that Easy can do.
Check is at 15.
The winner of this match, by the way, wins $40,000.
That's the biggest individual purse we've ever had.
I think so. I know that Julian, when he won Worlds, managed to pocket over 50 grand because he got some money. He got money from the Player of the Year payout that he used to exist
and from the team event.
And he got some money from the Dutch.
It was like a 3-horse parlay, right?
Right.
Sure, it's not 16.
Was he Rookie of the Year too?
Yeah. But that didn't have a cash prize attached to it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, $40,000 first prize here. The loser, $22,000. So 18 grand on the line.
Wait, so 22,000? That's almost like winning a Pro Tour last year.
No, it was 35 last year.
How much did the winner of Pro Tour Philadelphia get?
The winner of Pro Tour Philadelphia got like 20,000. It's like winning. It's like what Gadio got.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was because of the skins game payout we tried out at that Pro Tour. The money got spread out to almost all of the field. Like 87% of the field got money or something. At least $100. And so the winner, I think Gadio wound up with a little over 20.
So that's really...
Yeah, and that's what the loser of this match gets.
Yeah, it always happens whenever I do this sort of fancy, let's shuffle our sideboard into our decks. They don't know how many cards they do. I always do that and end up with something completely irrelevant in the matchup.
They're talking about the technique of shuffling all 15 of your sideboard cards into your deck, which is actually a pretty good technique, but you've got to be pretty diligent about de-sideboarding. if you have any kind of attention deficit disorder whatsoever, it's probably pretty bad. But
Z likes to not sideboard and then show people that he's not sideboarding. He's like, I don't think I need anything. He says it'll put them off.
What, in the Future League he does this?
He used to do it back when he played Magic the Gathering. Instead of thinking about Magic the Gathering, his robotic cubicle. Magic the Gathering.
So can we get a report from John on what the actual sideboards were? Is that possible, John?
Yeah, Becker will go sort that out. Can we get him somewhere where the players cannot hear him?
How is Scorched Rusalka in this matchup?
It's good. Keeps counters up Jitte.
Oh, then pretty key.
So why are the Jittes in the sideboard here? It's
a terrible tempo card. It costs 4 mana. It can cost up to like 7 mana to Jitte. And if you are on the wrong end of a char, it's like you got double time walks, and the other guy's smashing you.
But now in this matchup, all of a sudden they both turn themselves into Jitte decks.
Well, the problem is
maybe we don't know for sure yet.
I'm guessing.
I don't know why they're there. I don't know why they're there if you don't bring them in against the creature deck.
Obviously.
I mean, I assume you're saying they're bad against control decks to the point where you'd rather have them in the sideboard.
How many instant speed removals does Heezy have? The answer is 4.
The answer is 4 copies of Char.
4 copies of Char.
I mean, if you want to be pretty broad, you can include 2 naturalizes in this board.
But I'm talking about 4 creatures, okay?
To punish you for
He's 4 Char. So what do you think the danger is to Craig in terms of getting tempoed on the Jitte? Pretty low, right?
I guess the other reason for Jittes in the sideboard is that both players have Furniture Shamans in their main deck.
Yeah, but anyway, point being, the danger to Craig is pretty low because he's so light on removal spells at instant speed, and so he can afford to become a Jitte deck. Now, Heezy has to become a Jitte deck, he's just going to lose.
Good point. They can go.
No controversy there.
All right, well, let's do a throwdown to John Becker, who can tell us how these players sideboarded their decks.
Hey guys, how you doing? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I gotta talk really quietly here because I don't want to give away the sideboards to the players. Okay, Craig took out Flames of the Blood Hand, Conning of Ancient Law, and Shocks for Jittes, Hooligans, and Haunted Wolfuses. Heezy took out Flames, the Frenzied Goblin, and 2 Scab Clan Maulers for his Jittes, 10 Street Hooligans. And, hold on a second. 1 second.
Is it Blood Moon, John?
No.
Naturalized? Rumbling slum. It's
Yes,
gotta be
yes,
rumbling
that's
slum.
right. Yes, that's correct, Mike. That's correct.
Yes,
What is it, Rumbling Slum?
Yeah.
So they both brought in bigger men. Rumbling Slum on the one side and Hunted Wampus on the other.
Yes, that's correct. So out on both sides are the Flames of the Blood Hand, then Frenzy Goblins and Scav Grandmaulers for Easy, and Kami of Agent Law for Craig and Shocks.
So they both took out small creatures for big creatures. They both turned themselves into Jitte decks. And Craig took out his Shocks.
Yes.
It's fine. But look at how much...
You were just saying that you punished the Jitte player by...
Mark's creatures are all 3 toughness.
Okay. Good point. And he took out the small ones, it turns out.
Yeah, it's... I'm sure Craig anticipated something along those lines. What's interesting is, like... How often in a matchup like this is Rumbling Slum not the biggest dude?
So I was actually talking to the dealers. If you go back and listen to my podcast, first thing Friday morning, I went to the dealers to ask them what cards they were selling. I think it's always an interesting way to sort of get a read on the constructed field. And they're like, oh, all these Japanese players came up and bought Mind Bends. So you gotta ask,
that red mana source.
why are all the Japanese players buying Mind Bends? Right? Turned out they had them in the sideboard of their owl decks to beat Copper Red. Right? So we learned stuff like that just talking to the dealers about what cards they're selling. They were sold out of owls. They were sold out of Kami the Crescent Moon. Like you could have gotten a read on how many owl decks were in the field.
Craig's mulliganing with 5.
Wow.
I think that favors Heezy.
So the point of my story is that Paul Reitzel comes up, and apparently every tour, Paul shows up without a deck. He just shows up to hang out, and he plays, and he's like, he's a good enough player, but he basically builds his deck by going to the dealer table and flipping through binder pages. And like, he knew he was playing red-green aggro, and he's looking for sideboard cards, and he's literally just flipping through binders at the dealer's table, and he's like, Hunted Wampus. This thing's gigantic. Is this good against the other zoo decks? And he's like, I think I'm going to sideboard Hunted Wampus. And so he buys the Hunted Wampuses and then goes off to brag about the sideboard card that he feels like he just came up with off the top of his head. And so the dealer I was talking to, Michelle, she said that like in the 15 minutes after Paul went off with these triumphant Hunted Wampuses around the room, she sold 40 more Hunted Wampuses.
She should hire Paul Reitzel.
She should. She should absolutely hire Paul Reitzel. There was just this stream of people who all of a sudden were buying Hunted Wampuses. And so I got to wonder when Craig put them in his sideboard. Maybe he was part of the rush.
Craig was definitely osmosing things into his deck
at the last minute.
At the last minute, he was, the Flames of the Blood Hand came from Billy Moreno.
Okay.
It's quite reasonable to let's just say he took the Hunted Wampuses from Paul
Maybe he did, because his sideboard is radically different from Billy's. Billy transforms into Ghazi Glare afterboard and lets people die to their own burning tree.
Yeah, that's right. I was talking to Billy Moreno about that. He just did not know which was the right sideboard strategy against the other creature decks.
Billy's sideboard strategy seems very, very superior to me.
It got him into top 16.
He was in a tie for top 8.
Billy Moreno actually,
Craig mulliganing down to 4, by the way.
Oh boy. Let's talk some more about Billy Moreno and look away. Billy had, he has some major contributions to this deck, and then he has a top 2 in a constructed Pro Tour, and then the next constructed Pro Tour he has a top 16.
Yeah, baby. Craig Jones is mulliganing down to 3.
Well, he's trying to top his performance at the end of the semifinal rounds.
I guess
he's looking for something more legendary. Yeah, hats off to the 3-card win.
Oh, damn, I forgot. He's not
hats off to Billy Moreno. He caught a lot of flack for his performance in the top 8 in Los Angeles, but he came right back. Very next constructed Pro Tour, puts up a top 16 finish.
Right.
I think that has to silence some of the doubters.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a very smart guy. I was talking to Mike Turry. Mike was reading a book about companies that do things in a certain way that differentiate them from other companies in similar categories. Sure. And it was basically the difference between being a good corporation and being a great corporation. Okay. And he said it was really interesting to apply some of the stuff he was learning in that book to Magic players. And Billy Moreno was an example of someone he thought was a player who could be around for the long haul. He's like, he made some play mistakes, but he said his approach to the game, and he felt his preparation for the tournament was such that he's the kind of player that has a lot of success left in him.
Billy's extremely open-minded, and he has a burning desire to surround himself with people who can improve him.
And he can play. Oh my God!
That's like the best.
That might be the best 3-card hand of all time.
Savannah Lion, Isamaru is the hand, and a Sacred Temple.
He can't even attack.
Come on, kill him.
Oh, try it.